Hey everyone, welcome to Chasing Giants TV. I'm Terry Peer, and let's celebrate turkey season a little bit. You know, we primarily focus on everything whitetail on this page, but we talk about it on the podcast every year. My good friends Al Foster and Joe Johnson come into town to turkey hunt. We rent a house, everybody piles in, we spend 3 or 4 days just hanging out and going and turkey hunting on my farm. And I'm covered up with turkeys. So it's usually a great hunt. Now this year, things were a little bit different. I was worried before they got there that I just wasn't seeing that many turkeys on camera and didn't know why. Had the farm set up perfect, blinds set up, no intrusion, no one had been on there, no one had pressured the birds, but they came 1 week later this year, and I think that had a little bit to do with it. But what we ended up finding out was the real reason that the gobblers just didn't cooperate. So let's start the video out with actually what should be at the end of the podcast, and that's Joe getting a turkey. This was the first day of the hunt. It was raining all morning. We ended up just sleeping in, going to Cracker Barrel for breakfast, letting that rain go through. And Todd Covey, my real good friend and real world dealer from Earned Outdoors in northern Kentucky, let us go to one of his farms. Don did the property plan on this farm, and he has this big clover field on a creek bottom. And we said, let's just go down there, call a little bit, see if we can get something to respond. And these guys just had a ball. Huge clover, real world clover field with persimmons from Gingrich in it. Just fabulous looking spot. We got them set up, and I went up in a 360 blind because the chair was more comfortable. Obviously, I'm not hunting, and Joe and Al set up. And when the Osio camo blended in to this this base of this tree with some brush around it, I was shocked. I mean, floored. Until Joe moved, I couldn't even see him, and I was really close. This footage is just phenomenal about how Osio just blends in with anything, whether you're in the spring or the fall. It's amazing how it just disappears. So Joe gets set up, Al's out, getting the decoys ready, getting his position right. You know, Al is just a phenomenal turkey hunter, so he likes his certain setup a certain way, and goes out and gets these set up. So we're sitting there a little bit, and I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, and believe it or not, I'm sitting leaned back in the chair, half dozing off, half answering emails, and have my feet up in the window. I mean, it's turkey hunting. I'm pretty casual when it comes to turkey hunting. And all of a sudden I catch movement from the left, and 2 jakes were coming in. And I look over my shoulder, and Joe doesn't have his gun up. and they keep getting closer and closer. And I was surprised. I was like, Joe, I can't believe you're not going to kill one of these jakes. These guys have had a really hard hunt the week before in Iowa, put a ton of steps and miles on. They come to Kentucky where I'm covered up with birds, and I say, shoot anything you want. And most importantly, they got 2 tags. So bust a jake, then we'll go after a tom, right? Well, Joe doesn't have his gun up. Well, what I don't know is Joe can't see the birds coming in. So watch this footage. It comes in, and these birds just keep coming. Joe never puts his gun up, so I think he's not going to shoot. When they come into sight, one of them is looking right over towards Joe and Al. He can't lift his gun up. So the footage of when I zoomed in to this Jake, even the look in his eye, how mad he is at this decoy, hitting it with his wing, pecking at the back of his head.
Congratulations. Thank you.
He saw enough of that Jake.
After Joe shoots, we just start laughing because I'm like, he just shot a hole in the side of this decoy with that TSS. But I started laughing and I looked down. I was like, I didn't think he was going to shoot. I could hear Al laughing. He was on the other side of Joe, but Joe just absolutely smacked this thing from behind. It was hilarious. And I told him, I said, don't get up. I want to get down and get you walking up to the bird.
He smoked him.
You know, one of the cool things that happened this trip is Brandon Epperson had us over for a cookout at his place, and as we were sitting on his back patio looking out over this field on the farm that Brandon lives on, we started talking about rifles, and Brandon had a coyote target out way out, and we started to talk about long-range shooting, and I asked Joe and Al if they'd ever shot a gun with a suppressor, and neither one of them had. So this was one of the cool experiences that we got to do while they were in town. We went and grabbed the Brenton AR, and it's a brand new 22 ARC that Brandon used during coyote season. He had just taken his thermal off, put a new Vortex scope on it, and we let Joe and Al get their first being able to use a can, and without ear protection, long range shooting, and letting them fire a new 22 ARC Brenton way down range onto a steel target. So this is kind of a cool footage with those guys getting that experience for the first time.
Here, you want to zoom out? Find the target. You on there? Use the second crosshair down from the main one. This next one down.
Okay.
Means you hit it.
I mean, I hit it.
You nailed it. You want to zoom out to get the target?
Which one? This one?
It's zoomed all the way out right now. And you can zoom it all the way in once you got it in there.
Well, I got it. I had it. I would usually zooming all the way in before it shoots in. Is that right? Wow, that's making a difference.
Did you hear it?
I hit it, didn't I?
You hit it? It's very.
That's pretty cool.
The next few days was a little bit challenging. I want to put up some footage here. What ended up happening is we had a bunch of birds. I think we had probably 9 birds gobbling on the roofs the first morning. But what we found later I had never seen before, and that was we had a group of 8 jakes together on my farm, and when we put decoys out and started calling and a tom would respond, those jakes would just come in and run that tom off. That solo or double tom was not willing to commit to the decoys. So great footage of these things coming through. Great footage of some gobblers that just got hung up, didn't come in at 70 yards. We had one gobbling. So we ended up not getting another turkey, but here's just some great footage that I'll close out the video with. But most importantly, just such a great time to have Al and Joe in. And hey, instead of Jack and Jill, we'll call it Joe and Jake. So God bless everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have some more turkey footage as Josh Anderson gets back from his escapades around the country. And here hopefully we'll produce Al and Joe's turkey hunt from last year. We still have that in archives that we need to do. So if you want to see more turkey hunting footage, click down below. We also got some coyote footage coming from Brandon Epperson, so hope you enjoy that.